Okay. I think we're streaming. All right. Great. Welcome aboard. Um, Hopefully this thing is streaming. So we should be live.
All right.
Yep. There we go.
According to this.
Audio check. We're good. Okay. I will try to respond if you want to chat. Let me get the chat window open here on this thing. Comments. More. Yeah, whatever. It's not. Never works the way I want. All right. I might be able to see you chat. We'll see how that works. Okay. All right. So Bitcoin, crypto, all in the news. I was going to try to make a little video a few days ago because I sold little over half of my Bitcoin at just over $94,000. It was just kind of a gut thing. I've been watching the charts. They've been looking pretty bad. And I thought, Clarity Act isn't going through, which people were expecting that. Maybe people are going to do something else with their money for a while. So I just sold that huge amount for cash. And my average cost, it was just a fraction of a Bitcoin, but if it had been a whole Bitcoin, my average cost was about 28,000 per Bitcoin. So I've got some socked away on a private wallet that is I bought even cheaper. So if you stack the Bitcoin over time, that's what you can look forward to, in my opinion. Not investing advice, just real world experience over the last about 9 years that I've been dabbling with Bitcoin. I've never put in a ton of money. I've just bought. You can go back and look at the videos that I still have on the channel, and you can see that I buy $20, $100 here or there. That's it. All right. So let's talk about this news here. Let me get you on this page here. Okay, that should be showing up. Let's go check out right here. CoinSlate. You can subscribe to CoinSlate if you want. Bitcoin just erased all of our profits. $1.5 billion liquidation. So not so good. That's a bummer. Bitcoin wipes out all 2026 gains. Shocking 1.5 billion liquidation trap. People who are doing options, they lost. It's a gamble. I mean, anything's a gamble, but that's like a gamble that you're probably going to lose on. You're almost guaranteed to lose on options. I know everybody talks about winning, and if you have puts and you play the game a certain way, I guess there's a way. I've tried options. It just takes too much of my time. It's too difficult. So there you go. Michael Saylor's buying them up. So just remember, through this whole conversation, I'm going to be talking about a lot of negative stuff, but I still feel Bitcoin is, worth having in the long run. Okay? We're going to go into all this stuff. Other things, we're going to look at the market cap here. It is just barely over 3 trillion. If you go back all this last year, and I think even the year before, I talked about we need that crypto market cap, the amount of value in crypto out there, to be 4 or 5 trillion. 5, 6 trillion was what we were expecting. We never hit that. I had made my guess or prediction that Bitcoin would hit $180,000. We never came close to that by this year. And then as the market wasn't doing so good, I thought possibly we could hit it in the first or second quarter of 2026. And that is looking less and less possible. Anything can happen either way. So, like I said, the only way I have won at this game is just buying and holding a little bit at a time. So That way it evens out, and over 4 or 5 years, I don't think anybody who's done dollar cost averaging, or even if they bought it and they just held it for 5 years, I don't think anybody has ever not been in profit. So that's what you can go by. As of this article, 90,000, but I've seen it go down to 88,000. It's a 59% dominance Bitcoin in the market. So most of the money is going in and out of Bitcoin. 11.9% of the market's going in ETH, and the best performing sector is gambling. So that's terrible. Extreme fear at 24%. Yeah, just bad news. Let's look at some bad news. Okay, I'm gonna give you some bad news. All right, here at Crypto Politan, whatever the heck it is, you can see it there. It says the SCE sees a push for self-custody in new submissions. Florence Mukia, she tells us about it. Well, why are they having to push for self-custody in the new submissions? Because, let's face it, some of the government entities here in the U.S. don't want you to have self-custody, okay? And you can read this article here if you want. This is as they're going in the clarity. They're trying to push that they do not attack self-custody. But in fact, you know, you have, like, the IRS has already given hints that they want to at least know about your wallet. Americans will have to reveal self-custody crypto to IRS with a question mark here. Fullycrypto.com tells us here that the IRS has unveiled a draft form 1099 DA, which includes a requirement to reveal self-custody wallet address. So, yeah, that really takes away your privacy then, right? Because if they can do that, which they're supposedly not a government entity, another government entity says, hey, we want to see that record. We want to know, what have they been buying, you know? And, oh, we're going to pick on you because you're the wrong political party. So just no matter what political party you lean toward, just think of that. Having one political party or the other be able to go and trace your records out and go, oh, you spent money here, you donated money there. So the whole idea of Bitcoin is self-custody, privacy, sovereignty, okay? We don't want the government controlling our money, how we spend it, telling us what we can and can't buy. That's the whole idea of Bitcoin. So if you're brand new to Bitcoin, you know, great. Go to Coinbase, go to Kraken, go to Gemini, one of these US companies, and use them to get started. But for goodness sake, get educated, learn how to self-custody, practice self-custody with a little bit of money, and I'm going to show you how you can learn how to do that. I've got an excellent resource for you. I have done some educational videos, but I just really don't have the time for it right now. I just kind of contribute to my channel at this point because I love this. I have a side thing that I'm doing called BitGrow, where I'm using the heat from Bitcoin miners for growing, for heating greenhouses here in the cold Idaho winters, and for dehydrating herbs and different uses like that, to feel like I'm making a profit for the electricity I'm burning and by recovering the heat. So yeah, they want to know this. Like, you know, so if you hook up your, let's say you get one of these tax, if you're into crypto, you're going to have to report your taxes. So Coinbase doesn't even provide tax forms, you know, and you're going to go in and record every little time you harvested some interest from the USD that was sitting in there, the USDC coin, stable coin. You're going to you're going to figure out every time Ethereum paid a a staking reward. If you have Ethereum in there or some other coin that pays a staking reward, are you going to track when you bought it, what price it was, the day, how much, when you sold it, the date, how much? So there's tax softwares that you can use, but you have to tie them into all your wallets and all your accounts. And then, what if they get hit up for something from the IRS or whatever? So, the whole idea, and I guess I'll get into that, but this is just something to realize that you can't just write on there, well, I have a tenth of a Bitcoin in a wallet. Like that, they're not going to be good with that. I don't care what anybody says. They are not going to be good with that. They're going to demand to know. And we just aren't going to have the freedom that you think you're going to have. But we'll talk about how you can protect yourself, at least against other bad guys, maybe not the government bad guys. Here's another article on Cointelegraph that talks about the banks. You've probably heard this ad nauseum, so I'm not going to go into it. But the banks, they're fighting over the yield rules because of DeFi. So this is a huge obstacle for DeFi. Why would people hold all kinds of stable coins if they're not going to get a reward for it? They would just take it out and invest it in a cryptocurrency or in gold or in a stock or in a property. And the banks are hoping you'll leave it in there at 0 point nothing percent because they're making, I think, billions of dollars off of our money without our permission because they're banks. And that's what the government allows them to do. So, the other thing this would do is kind of push us Bitcoiners or not Bitcoiners so much, but cryptocurrency folks to want to deal with offshore businesses so that we can continue to get our interest rate, get some sort of reward for those things. So it's just pathetic what's going on, and it is affecting the price. This is a book I wrote in 2024. Bitcoin Equals Freedom. You can get it on Amazon. You get a free copy of it on Kindle. If you have the Kindle app, you can get it for free. All right. So this is something we talked about a long time ago. I probably need to go in and update this, but this is something I've said for years and years and years. You can go back to 2018. I did a video. It's still on there. It's one that I did not delete, and the YouTube didn't make me delete it, but I speak there about what the biggest risk to Bitcoin really is, and it's control. It's the government. And here we are. But if you want to get trained, here's where to go. All right. Warning though, if you go to his YouTube channel, not him as much, but his partner that's on there all the time, it drops nonstop F-bombs. And a lot of the people he interviews nonstop, you cannot listen to this in front of the kids. But if you go to his website, btcsessions.ca, they have all sorts of tutorials. A lot of them you can look at for free. He has the right links for some of these devices that you can use to self-custody and to have the most security in a safe way where you have a lot of privacy, okay? And he recommends companies that are the best at maintaining your privacy. So I would highly suggest you go over and bookmark this site, btcsessions.ca. He's really good at teaching how to use these devices, okay? So keep that in your arsenal, all right? So my strategy, all right. So let's look at the chart here. Bitcoin's down to 87. Wow. So really glad I sold at 94,000 was what Bitcoin was going for. I sold over half of my Bitcoin accumulation. And let's look at this chart here. I really like the 3-month chart that they have on the phone. I don't see it here on the website, but I really like their 3-month chart. 3-month chart is pretty cool. Oh yeah, no, it is here. All right, so right now, you can't see much. It's not looking too good. We just fell off a cliff. Some people say we might retrace. So here is the 7-day. Yeah, I'm not really seeing a retracement. Maybe at this very tip here, but we'd have to see it go up above 90 and hold. It went to 90 there, but it did not hold. All right. So let's look at the 1 month. Yeah, I'm just not really seeing anything there. Here's the 3-month. Man, it's sideways down, you know? Sideways down. If, let's see, right here we hit, was that 82 or 92? 82. All right, so that's a number I'm going to be looking at. If it stays below 90 and drops down into the low 80s, I mean, that just really confirms this downtrend that we've been in since January 18th. Okay. We've been in a downtrend, we were in a downtrend before that, obviously. We've been in a downtrend since October. Okay. Definitely since October. So that's why I like this 3-month chart. Kind of tells us where we're at. And if you go back a year, I wish we had 6 months. That would be nice. But I'll say this is probably about 6 months here. So here is, there's April 19th. We were at 85. Okay. And then our low was down here at 76. So, you know, we could really come back and hit some of these lows right here, I think. I think we could definitely hit, we can go under 80. So, and I think we are going to jump back up again, I believe. And, you know, I'm not giving you investing advice, but my gut's been pretty good lately. So I'm just watching it. I'm thinking it's going to continue down, but if it starts to pop up above 90 and start to show an uptrend, then I'll probably put my money back in. But if we drop below, if we drop into the low 80s, I may start buying in a little bit, putting some of my money back in the market as it goes down, see how low it goes. I just don't think it's going to go any lower than the 70s. I don't think it's going to go any lower than that. It could, but I don't think it is. The worst case scenario, last time we had, assuming this is like this weird cycle high that we had 125,000 for a brief moment. Remember one year we went went up here to 12, and then we went all the way down to like 3,500 for a quick moment. We went under 4,000. This chart's not showing it, but I know we did because I bought Bitcoin under 4,000 right in there. Okay. So that was, 4 times drop. So if you went a 4-time drop, that would be a lot. I mean, uh, that's bad, right? That almost, see, it went to what was before, the low before. So if we hit the low before, 17,000, I doubt we're going to have that low of a drop. I doubt we're going to do that. No, I think $70,000 level is the lowest. I mean, we could go to the high 60s. I don't think we're going to go any lower than this all-time high. I don't think so. There's just too much money in the market. So, and another thing you need to realize is if you have all these big companies buying all this Bitcoin, billions and billions and billions, and yet the price doesn't go up. We're just a drop in the bucket now for the market, the retailers. We don't even really influence the market much. I mean, we do the price because they're tracking off of us. They're not tracking off of the big players until they dump in the market. When they dump in the market, it dumps the price. But they do that when we're scared, right? And then they hope we'll sell, and then they buy it all up. That's what's happening quite a bit. All right, one last thing to look at here. Price prediction from CoinCodex. So the 5-day is up. The 1 month is up. The 3 month is up. Okay, they're predicting up. I don't see it in the chart, but they're going off a historical. So it will go back up again at some point, but at what point? That's anybody's guess. So I wished I would have looked at this yesterday. Well, 91,000 is up from right now. Yeah, what are they saying it costs right now? They got today's price up here. 87 right there. I guess they're assuming with this drop into the 80s that there'll be a buyback. And that could be. There could be a buyback in here. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. So I wanted to give you an update. I wanted to bellyache about, just how Bitcoin is not all the freedom that we had hoped for. I wanted to give you a good link to get information if you haven't learned how to do self-custody. There's a lot of great products. You can do a self-custody IRA. You can do a self-custody with a plan where you can give it to your, if you die, that it will just easily go over to them. They've got a decentralized 3-wallet type borrow against your Bitcoin by Debify, which I wouldn't recommend borrowing against your Bitcoin. That could be a mess, I think. But I've thought about it, but I just have not done it. And they have some, aside from Coinbase, they have other sources that require no KYC. So you can buy your cryptocurrency by yourself. But again, with our tax laws and stuff, it's like, well, you're really not even allowed. You still have to tell them where you bought it. I mean, you can't lie. They're gonna know. They're gonna find out. When they do, they're gonna fine you thousands of dollars if you buy it without reporting it. So you have to report it, or you're going to jail. So the privacy is already compromised. So the good thing about Bitcoin is it's still going up, and you just have to look at it like any other asset. They have control, and they can take it away anytime they want, or they can come lock you up because you have it and you're not telling them what they want to know. And but as long as you do it legal and you let everybody know, and nothing goes really bad, they decide to not take our crypto away, then you have the best asset there is on earth as far as I'm concerned. until proven otherwise. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I thank you for your time. I didn't see anything in the chat, so